I'm Vanessa, the girl on a bike, and I am a motorcycle rider, racer and adventurer. I've been riding motorcycles for about 6 years now, and it all started following a pretty life-changing accident where I was hit by a car while cycling in 2014, and motorcycles have been something that I've discovered and found through my mental and physical health recovery from the accident. So a lot of people don't realise is that I wasn't an active motorcycle before the accident. I did have a bike when I lived in the Bahamas when I was about 20. It's a real story, I didn't make that up. I was a student living out on a remote island, couldn't afford a car, thought why don't I get a motorbike? Came back to the UK to finish my studies and do a master's, and I guess I didn't see myself as a biker. But once I had the accident in 2014, physically I was no longer able to commute to work by bicycle, which is how I had commuted. And it was a good chunk of time after the accident when I was doing a little bit better, maybe following some of my 7 surgeries, and I decided to get a motorbike to beat the traffic, save parking, have a little bit more fun. I didn't really think about how terrifying it would be getting on a motorcycle following the accident. That was a big challenge that I overcame. But I think for me, motorcycles gave me a completely new meaning and purpose at a time when I was still physically quite limited and not able to do the extreme sports that I'd done prior to the accident. Had a big comfortable Harley Davidson that was kind of like an armchair with an engine, and I could get some adrenaline, some wind in the hair and some adventure while my body was still very much in recovery. The Girl on a Bike was something that started again when I was bedbound. So over the 7 years of my recovery, I had surgery pretty much every year, 7 years in a row. So it was very much a roller coaster of really deep, dark, horrifically painful lows where I don't think I realized the world could go so dark. Definitely mental health challenges, physical pain, but then I also had the highs of the roller coaster where I was maybe getting a bit fitter and stronger between surgeries. And it was at one of my low points where I decided that I felt like I needed something to put my energy into, and I started my Instagram account, and I was sharing photos of me before the accident, of me kite surfing, snowboarding, wakeboarding. Look how cool I used to be. I was actually diagnosed with change disorder, which is a mental health condition, which for me led to me no longer seeing myself as me. And I suppose when I first started my Instagram, I was focusing very much on the past, and I ran out of photos. I wasn't exactly in a cool position physically to create new content, and I made the decision to start being real and honest about the situation that I was going through, the days where I didn't want to get out of bed, the pain, the recovery. And it's been an incredibly, I guess, emotional experience, realizing quite how many people in the world are battling absolutely horrific challenges as well, and it's part of life. So I've continued to share that. I like to say I've got a glass half full kind of approach, and with a bit of positive mental attitude and smiles, everything's a little bit easier. So I guess I've shared that through my socials, and a little bit of an addiction for motorcycles is possibly really heavily infused in all of that. I suppose I was always into extreme sports until the accident. It changed my world physically, and I've been very determined not to allow 2 reconstructed body parts to stop me giving everything my all and getting out there. I don't want to use my new, slightly painful, I live and manage with hip pain on a daily basis, body as an excuse not to give it all. Now, the off-roading was a little bit of a random one. I was actually bedbound following a hip surgery when I decided to come up with the crazy idea of getting a dirt bike. Went out and bought one, and it was 5 months till I could even sit on it. But it was there as a reminder every day when I just hurt too much, I couldn't find the energy to do my physio. That bike was sat there going, come on, we gotta go ride. And it was a really important sort of goal for me to strive towards. And then since then, I guess I've just completely addicted to the adrenaline. I feel incredibly alive on an off-road motorcycle. When you are battling the terrain, the mud, the rocks, the bike, your body, everything that's going on, other riders in a race, there is no thinking about the pain that you're in or anything else going on in the world. You're just in the moment, full of adrenaline and alive, and I'm so addicted to that. So yeah, I guess that's what led me to do Red Bull Romaniacs, which I finished, got the medal, but that was tough, really tough, physically and mentally. If you had come to me, let's say 6 years ago, I would probably have choked on my drink if you said I would be riding a Red Bull Romaniacs in 6 years on a Husqvarna two-stroke. I don't think I ever would have envisioned the journey to take me there, and I think an important one for me when I look ahead is knowing that actually anything is possible if we break it down, we put the skills, the training, put the resource behind us, take things into bite-sized steps, you know, the classic, you don't climb a mountain in a giant leap. You take on these challenges step at a time, and I suppose it's exactly what I did with Romaniacs. I worked really hard on my skills, on my bike control, on my ability to cope with the situations with my hip as well and the limitations that my body has, and then also my fitness and my mental strength to push on and make the finish line. So it wasn't something I saw happening, but it's definitely given me the bug for some future challenges. I suppose when I'm on a motorcycle, I don't have the mental capacity to think about much else. You're very much in the moment, you're focusing on the road, the terrain, the trails, the river crossing, tackling, staying upright on the bike, and so you don't have as much mental capacity to be worrying about the rest of the things that are going on in life. So I think there's an element of that that's very uplifting and freeing. I also feel as though my body will never be the same again, and so for me to go back to kite surfing, which I will do one time, sometime soon, I will go back to kite surfing, but I've got to be very careful with my expectations because my body isn't the same as it used to be, and I will have that emotional judgment of myself that I can't do what I used to do. But that's okay, because I didn't used to be able to ride a motorcycle, and now I can ride a motorcycle. So they've kind of just become a new journey in life, you know. A big door closed when I had that accident. In a moment like this, life as I knew it was dramatically different. And on that new journey, I've discovered the thrill of an engine and two wheels, which I can't really complain about.